Sims Nation, welcome to the Positively Pat Sims Show, the greatest Saturday morning pro wrestling show on the planet. And we are joined by our fabulous listeners on WANT Radio. Welcome. And we are also joined by our viewers on YouTube as we are streaming live. And if you're watching us live on YouTube, make sure you head on over to that live chat and say hello to us, and make sure you're telling us all about today's topic, which is, of course, what makes each WrestleMania worth watching. And on today's show, this is part 3 in our series, and we are covering WrestleManias 21 through 30. So a very interesting time for WWE, as we all thought, I don't know about you guys, we have some special guests I'll be introducing in a minute, but we all thought that WrestleMania 20, well, the tagline was where it all begins again. That was going to be the beginning of a new era for WWE, but no. 21 seems to be the new era, where we introduce all new champions, John Cena and Batista, and John Cena would go on to be your big draw during this time period. But also, we had some very interesting moments here, including the Battle of the Billionaires. That's right, future President Donald Trump shows up at WrestleMania 23. We have, of course, the one-time only matchup, of course, the WrestleMania 28 that turned out not to be once in a lifetime. And the rise of the Yes movement. So there's quite a lot to go over here. So let's introduce everyone that's going to be with us live here on the show today. First, let's start off with, of course, my co-host, my information guy, the man sitting at the MacBook. I give you Seth Sims. That's about par for course what Seth would say. All right, and then we have our Zoom guests in the order in which they were received onto the show. First, I give you fellow DDPY warrior and instructor, my good friend, George Fenmore. Good morning, George.
Morning, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, George, we are what?
Live.
We are live. All right, and next up, he is the living legend. He is the seer of seers, the prognosticator of prognosticators. He is not Puxatawny Phil. I'm talking about the WANT legend himself, Benny the Jet Scala. Good morning, sir.
Wow, what an intro. I got to show off my
yes.
World Water merch.
And then it blurted out. It was like we had it's like we had that thing where, nope, you can't show that on the air.
Yeah, we're not sponsoring.
Yeah. But that said Koloff World Order for those of you that missed that. All right, now we just hold on really quickly. All right. And last but not least, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ladies and gentlemen, I give you my dear close personal friend, Ashton Harris. Welcome to the show, Ashton.
Hey, Pat. Thanks for having me on the show again, man. Glad to be back.
Always good to be back. Always good to have you back. And we are set, guys, to talk about these next 10 WrestleManias. And it's very interesting to go back and watch because WWE was on a roll going into WrestleMania 20. And then The Rock now is going to be gone for quite a while. We would not see The Rock again until he hosted WrestleMania 27. And WrestleManias 20, 21, and 22 all apparently went smaller than larger. So WrestleMania 20 was Madison Square Garden. Of course, you can't go wrong in New York with that. Hi, Diamond. Thank you for walking in front of the camera. WrestleMania 21, however, before we get to 22 and tell you where that emanated from, 21 was right down the road from us here in Southern California at what used to be known as the Staples Center. And I don't even know what it is now. It's like crypto.com arena or something like that. But this was the first where they were WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. Of course, 39, where Seth and I went to. That was also a Hollywood-themed WrestleMania. But a very interesting one at that. So we're going to start off. I want to start with George. You're right on the screen here. George, give us your thoughts on WrestleMania 21 and what makes it must-see.
Well, it's the beginning of John Cena, right? Like the part where he finally hits that main event scene, right? Like that's where he becomes world champion for the first time and just shoots off into basically outer space, right? Now, he just retired at 17, so that was the beginning of the moment. You also had the very first Money in the Bank ladder match, like ever, right? So, and then Edge managed to take that and look to the career he's had after that, right? So, it's must see because just for those two things alone, everything else on it, cool. You also have Taker and Orton in there. Like that was a good match. Well, I think Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle fought on there. It was just,
yeah, it was. I thought 21 was a pretty strong card. Benny, let's go to you. Benny, what are your thoughts on 21 and what makes it must see?
Yeah, this was actually rated by Bleacher Report as the 6th best WrestleMania ever.
Wow.
And I can definitely see that. Yeah, the beginning of, like George said, the beginning of John Cena, C Nation. What an entrance by JBL, though. I loved the police escort, all the bills falling out of the sky with JBL's face on them. I mean, you can't beat that.
Right.
Yeah, Ray versus Eddie, great match. Edge wins the first Money in the Bank. Undertaker raises the streak, I believe, 13. And Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels, what a hell of a match. It was really a solid WrestleMania.
Yep. Top to bottom. Ashton, how about you? WrestleMania 21.
Oh man, WrestleMania 21. I mean, Benny and George, they said it. They said everything that's really good. They said everything about it that can be said. Personally speaking, the John Cena versus JBL was my favorite match. But then Ray versus Eddie. I always loved watching them put on a good show. So those two matches right there would be my highlight of that WrestleMania.
All right, Seth, you got anything else for me? Dude.
Everyone's talking about John Cena because that's the obvious one,
right?
But I think Batista dethroning Triple H is a pretty good part. I think that one's a pretty significant part of that WrestleMania 21.
I mean, I agree, and so I think Batista Triple H had the best storyline, probably of WrestleMania 21. John Cena JBL was more about just the rise of John Cena for me. But when you look at Batista and Triple H, and the funny part is neither match was really all that memorable. Like if you guys think about WrestleMania 21, think about those matches and you remember John Cena winning the title, you remember Batista beating Triple H. But neither match I think was really off the chart good, especially Cena JBL. But the build up for Batista Triple H was so good with just the crumbling of Evolution. From the moment they turned on Randy after he won the title at SummerSlam to Batista choosing Triple H by doing the same thing with the whole thumbs down deal. So good. Such good storytelling there. But in terms of match quality, 21, I mean, Money in the Bank is a spectacle, and it started a tradition, and it's definitely worth checking out. Angle and Shawn Michaels for me in terms of a match, that you have to see. But, yeah, 21 is definitely one of those sleeper WrestleManias that a lot of people that I've talked to haven't seen. And it's like, dude, you got to get over there. And there's one moment, if you're an old school pro wrestling fan like me, let's say Hulkamaniac, by the way, where it's an entertaining segment, but you couldn't get away with it today. And it's Eugene comes out, which right away tells you a lot that right there. Eugene comes out doing his thing, right? And he comes, and then Hassan, I think it was that Muhammad Hassan or whatever it is, comes out and puts him in the camel clutch. And of course, here comes the real American. The music plays, and I swear to you, I thought the roof was going to come off of the Staples Center. I mean, this was back when Hogan was still pretty much beloved across the board. And I mean, that place just blew up. And it was a fun little moment. It really was. All right. Let's move on here to the next one. So the next WrestleMania, of course, numerically, is WrestleMania 22. This one emanating from Chicago and does feature, I want to throw this out to my son Seth, because I'm sure my other panel here probably knows the answer to this. Mm-hmm. But there was a little cameo by a future WWE champion, a future world champion. He's, in fact, no, I'm not going to say. I'll give it away. So, who do you think that was, Seth, in Chicago?
L.A. Knight? I don't know.
No. I mean,
I was thinking
he's old enough.
I was thinking, in Chicago, it's going to be someone not from Chicago.
No, I'm saying that to give it away that it's from Chicago.
Oh. George,
you look like you're ready to give me the answer. What's the answer?
CM Punk.
CM Punk. That's right. One of John Cena's little mobster dudes for John Cena's entrance. 22 is an interesting pay-per-view as well. This is the first time I remember the crowd really being anti-Cena. I don't and my memory's a little probably jaded during this time period, because this was a time when it was so busy, and it was the first time I remember being kind of overwhelmed by pro wrestling. You had the brand splits and all this stuff, and it was John Cena flipping over from SmackDown to Raw because they thought Batista was going to be the next big thing, and John Cena's popularity took off, and then all of a sudden John Cena was getting "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants, and people were cheering for Triple H on this night. But Benny, give us your thoughts on WrestleMania 22. What makes this must see?
Yes, several things. One of them wasn't the appearance of Joe Theismann. Why him? I have no idea. But no, some great matches I loved. In fact, I watched it last night. The Edge and Mick Foley hardcore match. What a match! That really got me there. And then the casket match with Taker and Henry, I liked. And then you had Rey Mysterio winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
All right, Ashton. WrestleMania 22, what do you got?
WrestleMania 22, I think the must-see part of that had to have been the triple threat where Rey Mysterio got the championship off of Kurt Angle. He went up against Kurt Angle and Randy Orton, two guys Randy Orton was just a powerhouse, and as he's always been. Kurt Angle, he was just always breaking ankles, So you had Rey Mysterio being the underdog as he always is. Him winning, I think that was match of the night for me. The casket match, that was a fun match to watch. But yeah, and I think you said how everybody was kind of booing John Cena for a while. That was unexpected, but that didn't last long because he became super Cena after that.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It seemed like the more the fans booed, the more Vince kept the even further Vince would push Cena. And the fans could boo all they want. At the same time that they're booing, they're buying John Cena merch.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, absolutely. So
they're wearing his stuff, booing, and it's like, well, as long as you're buying his stuff, the boo doesn't mean nothing, because it's about the money, 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 money. George, hey, can you do me a favor?
Yo.
Because something keeps popping up when. So if someone else is giving their little spiel there or whatever, go ahead and mute your audio for me. That way it doesn't switch back and forth between camera shots. But since we've got you on right now, George, why don't you go ahead and give me your thoughts on Wrestlemania 22?
I agree. Like Rey Mysterio winning the world title was huge for me. Again, that was just such an incredible moment. I also really loved the casket match between Taker and Mark Henry. And I'll toss another one out there: the Boogeyman defeating Booker T, and that was just great. But yeah, the hardcore match.
I can't get over that.
Yeah.
Booger Man.
But Edge beating Mick Foley in that match, that hardcore match, was just, I don't know, crazy. And another one that I like because I'm a guy and everything, Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle and the Playboy pillow fight.
Oh my God, the Playboy pillow fight. Of course you would, George. Oh man. Well, hey, Maddie, Mr. Marijuana, thank you for jumping on the show. Yep, smoke him if you got him. Oh man. So there was a thing in the chat here that I want to do a little correction to, because it said first Mania with 2 main events. Anyone want to know why that is not true? Anyone here want to point out which WrestleMania was billed as having a double main event?
No clue.
you got me.
Don't know, Benny? The answer is WrestleMania 8. The double main event, double main event, was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ric Flair for the WWE Championship. And the main event, the last match on the card, was Hulk Hogan versus Sid Justice. Wasn't Psycho Sid just yet, but versus Sid Justice. That was the first Mania with a double main event billing to it. But got a lot of good stuff here in the chat, talking about RVD winning Money in the Bank. Grandmaster says 18-man battle royal won by Viscera, because of course. And of course, people bring up Edge versus Foley, which was a very fun, hardcore match. And Edge really showing that he could hang with the hardcore legend Mick Foley. Mick Foley finally getting that WrestleMania moment that we even have in our opening video there with the flaming table spot. And George and Benny, you guys might know our buddy, friend of the program, and fellow 2021 DDPY champ Maria Picaler. And Maria, when we went out for our champs thing, we went to an AEW event. It was really cool. They took us backstage. We got to meet some of the guys. And while we were there, the main event match was Cody Rhodes versus Andrade. And they did a flaming table spot. This is Maria Picaler's first pro wrestling show. She's not a pro wrestling fan, which is why we call her our resident expert when she comes on the program. And Maria is now thinking that flaming tables are kind of a normal occurrence in pro wrestling. And I had to when we're doing an interview with her later, I had to kind of tell her, like, no, you kind of caught like the Aurora Borealis of professional. They don't do that very often, and if they do, it's not done very well. The Dudleys did it pretty well. Edge and Christian, this one was Edge and Foley, this one was done well. Can you get the cat's tail off the screen? Oh man. But yeah, the Foley Edge spot was done super, super well. And with Lita being the one to light the table, the timing and everything was great. Edge actually spearing Foley through the ropes. I mean, a lot could have gone wrong there. So a big round of applause for those two guys. Really, really good. Boogeyman kissed Charmel with a mouthful of worms. Yeah, I try to forget that. That's disgusting. The Booger Man, as George so lovingly called him. All right, guys. So that's 22. Yeah, we can't spend a whole lot of time on each one. Oh, Seth, you didn't get to give us your thoughts on WrestleMania 22. You're almost old enough now to start remembering some of these.
Almost.
Not yet, though.
No.
Because I remember the first WrestleMania that I actually got to watch live. We moved to Corona, and it was WrestleMania 25, and you weren't there. So it would probably be 26 on that you would actually might recall some things about them.
Maybe.
Live and in the moment. But tell me about 22. What do you got? Because I know there's one match we haven't talked about yet for sure.
Oh, see, I wouldn't know. We've already talked about all the ones that I know.
Because there was...
Because I feel like I can't hear myself.
Yeah, I don't really hear you either. Hold on. I mean, you're coming through, but not loud.
Yeah.
There it is. There you go. We fixed it.
Yeah. What I've got is obviously the main event, and then the casket match, and Mick Foley versus Edge with the flaming table.
There was also a Vince McMahon match in this one. Anybody remember who Vince faced in this one? Shout it out if you know the answer.
Your mom.
Shane, wasn't it?
No, that would be 17.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Grandmaster, we talked about that. CM Punk, part of the Chicago Gangsters. But Vince's opponent for WrestleMania 22 was HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, with a really cool spot where Vince was laying on a table in a trash can. And Shawn jumps off a ladder, elbowing Vince, who's safely protected inside the trash can from the elbow. But it was a cool spot. Looked really, really cool. So there's still a lot of good stuff. More sleeper WrestleManias here. 21, a lot of people sleep on. 22, a lot of people sleep on. And I don't know why. Right? And we get to 23. Right? We get to 23. We're back in the stadium. We're in Detroit, Michigan for this one. And 23 was a huge WrestleMania. It was very, very big. And this one was following Undertaker winning his very first Royal Rumble match, which made me a happy camper. You had and he chooses to face Batista. You've got Bobby Lashley versus Umaga in the billionaire versus billionaire match. Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump. Saying that out loud right now is so weird because I loved Vince growing up. Like, I loved Vince as a commentator, even though he was horrible. And that's why I loved him, because everything was just a maneuver. Every pinfall was the end of the match. And Donald Trump, I thought, was entertaining. I didn't really care for him one way or the other, but there was so much history, right? WrestleMania 4 and 5 both emanated from Trump Plaza. Like, there was all this. I'm like, oh, this is going to stand as a moment we'll always remember fondly. And I mean,
fondly.
Who wouldn't want to go back and remember when Donald Trump tackled Vince McMahon and threw what might be the worst punches in the history of pro wrestling?
The absolute worst.
And now, like, even now, I'm smiling thinking about it. But now you have who might be the most divisive president in history. And you've got
too.
Vince. And I don't really have to say much more about Vince.
Like, oh yeah, remember that time that Vince and Trump they went at it in a ring?
Like if I were to tell you, like, hey, what makes 23 worth watching? And I said, oh, Vince McMahon and Donald Trump. There's a good chance that the person I'm talking to is going to go,
that's not a thing. That never happened. Well, one of them went bald.
yeah. Oh, man. I got to tell you, though, I love Vince's white streak. Anybody else seen that white streak in his hair that just goes, it's like a skunk.
Yeah.
It is epically good. I love Vince's skunk streak. All right, anyway, but WrestleMania 23 is still a pretty fun WrestleMania. You've still got the Money in the Bank. This was, and I'll let you guys get into it more, but I mean, there was a lot of good here. Shawn and Cena, Batista, Taker, and even Umaga Lashley was a fun match. Just, it's just the guys around it are a little suspect nowadays. But Ashton, let's as my voice cracks. Ashton, let's start with you. Tell me what is worth watching on WrestleMania 23.
The Bobby Lashley versus Umaga, that was a good match to watch.
Yeah.
The spectacle of the billionaires fighting each other and the terrible punches. Something could be so bad that it's fun to watch. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, that Donald Trump throwing those terrible punches. Like
he made Shane look really good.
Bodyguard do it from now on. So yeah, that hair versus hair match, that's something that's fun to watch. Undertaker winning the championship again versus Batista, also continuing the streak.
Right.
Man, the Money in the Bank ladder match, that was always a good match to watch. So yeah, those three things stood out for me. What was it? I think didn't John Cena continue his WrestleMania streak with that as well?
Yep.
Yeah, he went into WrestleMania as champion and won again.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right, George, your thoughts on WrestleMania 23?
I agree with the Battle of the Billionaires. That was just like the man. I hadn't laughed so hard in my life when I watched that back in the day. Another good one that it's nowadays will also cause issues, but it was a really good match. Was actually Benoit versus MVP, U.S. Championship.
Good. Yeah.
Obviously, everyone knows how good Benoit was in the ring. It was
Right.
the stuff he did outside of the ring that caused all the drama with him.
Right.
But that match was really, really good, actually. And then, of course, you have Mr. Kennedy winning the Money in the Bank, which unfortunately he never got to use it. But he won it. We thought he was going to go somewhere before he didn't. And what was another good one on there? Yeah, you have Taker and Batista. Obviously Taker winning the world championship. That was great. Some of the other
that was
matches
the highlight for me.
Some of the other ones on there though were kind of like like you have the Great Khali beating Kane. That was just awful.
Oh, was that this one? I thought. Why did I think that this one was where Kane beat Chavo?
No, this was when Khali defeated Kane.
No. Which one was the one where Kane beat Chavo in like 2 seconds? Would that be next year?
Maybe.
Yeah, that was next year.
Oh, okay, 24. Yeah, that was fun. Just squash. All right. Well, that shows you how good. See, I try to do. If you guys haven't noticed, I try to do these shows from memory. I don't.
You got a really good memory.
Like I don't even prep. Like I don't rewatch the WrestleManias because my wife and I always joke I am full of useless information and 90% of it is pro wrestling. The other 9% of it is music and movies, and then 1% of it is things that can actually help me in my life. But And I have a lot of movie information too. So that should tell you how much I know about pro wrestling or remember about pro wrestling. Yeah, let's go to Benny. Benny, I want to get your thoughts on WrestleMania 23.
Well, first I have to add to the Vince being a horrible commentator and add that he used the phrase "notwithstanding" about once every 60 seconds, and then imagine the impact about once every 2 minutes.
But here's the thing: there was something about Vince as a commentator that really, like, I still to this day love hearing Vince call, and I think a lot of it has to do with
me too.
I think he just you could feel when Vince was calling it, if that makes sense. Like, Vince wasn't a good play-by-play guy, right? But he still had a way of making you feel what you were watching. And the way Vince could change his voice. Like, Vince could talk like this and look what's happening in the ring, and then all of a sudden something big would happen and he would get that Vince growl, right? And it made the moment feel really cool. So, and that's really what you want in a commentator. I really honestly could care less if they call every move in the ring. I don't need a Joey Styles when it comes to calling every move that we see in the ring. But I love when they make me feel what's happening in the match. And in that case, I thought Vince did a great job. Great job. I mean, imagine Shawn Michaels and Vince not in the background with his signature, "The boyhood dream has come true." He helped make that moment. Let's be real. As much as you might not like Vince.
He can tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a kind of a weird, I get that Benoit, this might be a little controversial coming right now, but I get that what Benoit did was terrible. It's inexcusable. I'm not here to say anything other than that. What I am going to say, though, at the same time is that, I don't have a problem watching Benoit matches because of, and because of what happened. I also look at it as, the dude suffered from something and probably wasn't in much control of his own life at that point. I've heard a lot of, really terrible stories of guys that suffered from CTE, which is a brain disorder that comes from head trauma, like head trauma over and over and over. You're talking about a guy that went off the top rope every night to do a headbutt, right? Head trauma is a really scary thing, and I do want to mention it here because we're not going to hear about Benoit anymore going forward because this was it for him. But I think it's an important thing because a lot of people feel guilty to this day watching anything with Benoit in it. People don't like watching things with Vince in it. We try to kind of erase history a little bit, and I just have a different viewpoint of it. And the guy that we saw in these earlier matches from Benoit is more the guy that he was. I actually met Benoit. I met Benoit before WrestleMania 2000. He was at that point part of the new invading group from WCW. It was him, Perry Saturn, Eddie Guerrero, and Dean Malenko.
Like
yep.
That.
Yeah. And I met him and Perry Saturn together. And I think Perry had just gotten his steroid shot because the Band-Aid placement was pretty obvious. But Benoit was a really sweet, super nice dude when I met him, and he was very kind and very generous to a lot of people. That's the Benoit I want to remember, and I think we need to remember too that these guys go through a lot. These professional wrestlers go through a lot. This is a public service announcement for us, and they put their bodies on the line every night, and the consequences of that has been pretty rough. And so I'm really, as much as people get on the Triple H era for creative or whatever, and you have every right to do so, I'm just thrilled that these guys are much better taken care of nowadays. If they need time off, they get time off. If they need to recover from injury, they recover from injury. Not like Benny, you mentioned good old Bruno Sammartino, who Vince Sr. sent out there and should never have sent out there, injured the way he was. So
Literally 2 months later, after sustaining a broken neck,
right,
almost to the day, 2 months.
yep. I mean, Kurt Angle would do the same thing. He would run out.
So with Mick Foley.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Mick Foley ended up having so many concussions from fighting The Rock back in that Rumble when Rock hit him with that chair like a dozen times in the head, and he's still out there on Monday with obvious concussions.
Yeah, I think Mick is one of the most blessed and cursed guys at the same time, because with the amount of punishment he's taken, the fact he's still alive is a testament to him. And he can barely walk, but he can walk. He's dropped a lot of weight, so congratulations to Mick Foley. Little fun fact here before we move on. So we talked about working injured here. So the Hell in the Cell match, the only thing everybody remembers from the Hell in a Cell is everything Mick Foley went through, throwing him off the top of the cell, choke slamming him through the cell. And, of course, we have the thumbtacks. A lot of people forget about the thumbtacks. But what a lot of people forget or don't know is that Undertaker went into that match with a broken foot. And you can see that when he drops down from the cage and does a little hopscotch thing there when he gets down off the cage, because he can't put that kind of weight on his foot. Could you imagine? Like, if I were Taker and all the news was all about Mick Foley, there'd be a part of me that'd be like, dude, I wrestled with a broken foot. Like, can I get some credit?
No. But
Taker isn't that kind of guy, obviously. But, man, to go out there and do that, that's just incredible. All right, Seth, you got anything for me for WrestleMania 23? Anything we left out?
I mean, you talked about Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon.
I did.
But you never talked about how Donald Trump shaved his head.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was a hair versus hair match. I guess we did leave that out. And, of course, Bobby Lashley won. And Stone Cold, Bobby Lashley, and Donald Trump then proceed to shave Vince McMahon's head.
Yeah, he looked like the guy who did Vulture for Spider-Man: Homecoming when they shaved his head.
I mean, it's anything involving Vince is entertaining, and again, it comes down to Vince's reactions. I don't think Vince getting his head shaved is nearly as funny as it is if it's not Vince reacting the way he reacts. I mean, the dude was wailing in the chair, and you would have thought that they were like doing open brain surgery on him at that moment, the way he was. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Vince's reaction to the whole thing was so comical.
Yeah.
Him putting the shaving cream on, that was funny too.
And I swear to you, one of the best students of pro wrestling, in my opinion, is Triple H. I think Triple H is one of the best students of pro wrestling. And I think Triple H got a lot of the way he reacts to things by watching Vince.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. His reactions are pretty over the top.
Yeah. When Mick Foley, one of my favorite moments ever.
Came back as Cactus Jack?
Yes. He's dressed as Mankind, takes off the mask, and you can literally see this transition from Mankind to Cactus Jack, but it still doesn't work if Triple H's reaction wasn't spot on. Like,
oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. It's got to be happening.
Yeah. And it happened twice. It happened back in about 98. Somewhat 97, 98, when Cactus Jack first appeared in WWE, when they did the Three Faces of Foley video segment, and Triple H's reaction then was awesome. And then you had in 2000, leading into the Royal Rumble, to their hardcore match, and Mick Foley was Mankind, comes out, changes mid-promo into Cactus Jack, and again, Triple H sold the whole thing with his reactions. So
absolutely.
Bravo. All right, let's move on to WrestleMania 24. I love this WrestleMania for a few different reasons, and I'm going to give a shout out here of why I think first, and then we'll get to everybody else. WrestleMania 24. Of course, my man, The Undertaker, in the main event, against Edge in what is, again, a glossed over Taker match. Unfairly. His match with Randy Orton was good. His match with Mark Henry was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know how those two were going to, like, I like Mark Henry, and this set us up for that world's strongest man, kicking butt heel character that he would become. But Edge and Taker was so good, and it was so much better than I was expecting. Again, it exceeded my expectations. And a lot of people look at Taker's streak of great matches that he had, starting with Shawn Michaels. For me, it started really when you went from good to great here at 24. And, I'm biased, though, because I love Taker. All right. But the other.
Yeah, you're one of Undertaker's biggest fans.
Yes, I am.
That's for sure.
The second match on this one that I have to point out that is must see and makes this WrestleMania worth watching: Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels. You have Crybaby Flair, and I say that with love because I'm Crybaby Positively Pat. I'm a very emotional dude, and so is Ric Flair. The dude was crying before the Sweet Chin music because he knew what was coming. It was the most beautiful send-off that I've ever seen. I mean, people want to complain about John Cena's last match. This was perfection for a final match. And I hate the fact that Flair always had to come back and do something else and kind of ruin that moment for me. And I know it's not all about me, but hey, I got something to say.
If you get retired, stay retired after that.
I mean, it was, and I could say the same for Shawn Michaels. He should never have come back for that Saudi match. But the "I love you, I'm sorry" thing was just, it was great.
Yeah.
Right. And if you
after the pin, he jumped up and gave him a hug, and he just couldn't contain himself.
Right.
That was an absolutely very emotional match.
Yeah. All right, so Ashton, give me something else about WrestleMania 24. What else is there that is must see about this one?
Me being a guy, I'd have to say the Playboy Bunny Mania match.
Oh, another one, huh? So those are the kinds of things that I legitimately block from my brain.
Yeah,
like they were at this point in my life. Right?
It's those matches. I usually really the gimmick of the Playboy Bunny style. I'm like, this seems entertaining, but for real though, the CM Punk winning the Money in Bank ladder match. He went against Shelton Benjamin, Chris Jericho, Carlito, MVP, Mr. Kennedy, and John Morrison. I think only like three of those were guys that I had a good time watching. And then Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that would have been a thing? And Floyd Mayweather winning. It
was fun.
Yeah, I do like how Big Show talks about how that went, and how he kept saying that Floyd Mayweather he wasn't sure what to do or how to do things, and when he kicked it off, he was like, "Hey Floyd, just punch me in the face as hard as you can." And he's like, "Wait, what? Yeah, just punch me in the face as hard as you can."
And he did.
And he got out, and he was legit afraid.
I would be too. Yeah, there's another guy I met Big Show. I would not want to piss that dude off. Like,
Big Show is a huge teddy bear, man.
Oh, I'm sure, but I angry? No.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, he was the build up for that was so good. The blood, he was all bloodied up, and you could see that even though this was a planned thing, and that you could see that just the anger in the Giant's face.
He sold the anger real well with that one.
Oh man. All right. Benny, your thoughts on WrestleMania 24? What makes this must see?
The Shawn Michaels Ric Flair match for sure, just because of what's at stake.
Yeah.
And I can definitely identify with the Heartbreak Kid because I always say "I'm sorry, I love you" right before super kicking anybody in the mush.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like protocol, I guess.
Yeah.
Or at least he made it protocol. But no, I loved Undertaker Edge. And it's funny because I think I watched all 10 of of Taker's matches over this week, the WrestleMania matches, and it's sad because it's like I think here he was about 43, still going strong, but you can see him slowing down over the course of the subsequent WrestleManias.
Yeah, I mean, he let's be for real, 25 and 26, which we're going to get to here pretty quick. He had the perfect opponent. Shawn Michaels,
oh heck yeah,
who to me is still, like, for me, Shawn was the man. Shawn was my favorite in-ring performer.
He could get a good match out of anybody.
Yeah. And his matches with Triple H were highlights on some little subpar WrestleManias. So again, I think that Taker still had enough left in the tank, but really it was after Punk, after 29, where you started to see a very significant downswing for Taker. And of course, Taker injuries playing a huge part. Age, of course, plays a huge part. And think about this. At this point, Taker is at a point in his career where back in the early 90s, Vince would have been pushing them out the door. I mean, think about how old Hogan was when they called him the Huckster. How old was Macho when they called him the Nacho Man?
Macho was like 42 when they pushed him out.
Right. Yeah, they're over the hill at that point, right? And Taker is main eventing WrestleMania. And so, I think 18 kind of proved with Hogan Rock that in pro wrestling, age can be just a number. And it doesn't have to mean that you're pushed out of the spotlight. I think Vince started to understand a little bit better after the new generation era that money's money. And if you're a draw, you're going to get an opportunity. You're going to be in that ring. And Taker's always been that for WWE. Whether he's on a full-time schedule or the part-time schedule, Taker is a draw. All right, George, give me your thoughts on WrestleMania 24. What makes it must-watch?
I agree with everybody. Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair was probably the biggest draw of that entire card. Like you guys said, I'm sorry, I love you, super kick, boom. Another good one, again, like with already discussed, would be Floyd Mayweather knocking out the Big Show. That was really, really, really good. But the Undertaker and Edge match, man, and coming to find out, I don't know, years later, that Edge was actually supposed to win that match, and Edge absolutely refused. So, hats off to Edge for that. There's also another good match on this one that we haven't talked about was Batista versus Umaga.
Yep, there it is.
SmackDown and Raw representing because the brand split.
Right.
Yeah.
The brands. I like how you did that. That was good.
Oh man, I to this day, I guess I'm the only one who hates the brand. I always hated the brand split. Like I just can't stand it. Like I missed the old days. I grew up in the Attitude Era, so
right.
I missed the old days where something would happen on Raw, and the whole feud would continue on SmackDown.
Right.
And then it would, just I don't know.
I mean,
I loved that.
I was okay with it, with the brand split, mainly because not so much from a storytelling, because then it meant like the Raw storylines were only on Raw, SmackDown story. So if you missed SmackDown, you couldn't get caught up on Raw. You know what I mean? Like you had to watch SmackDown, but it was all right. My big thing, why I think I liked it was WWE. We have to remember when WCW folded and ECW folded, WWE is essentially the only major game in town. And during this time, I think TNA might have been starting up. Jeff Jarrett and bringing over a lot of old WWE guys into TNA. But TNA was, I don't know, to me, TNA was never legit competition to WWE. But WWE was the show. There was nobody else. There was no legitimate number two. That was the place to be. And so WWE had a very big roster of guys. And ECW was kind of used as what now we would look at as NXT. It was kind of the breeding ground for WWE. But the reason I was okay with it was it got more guys, more time on television. It introduced us to a lot of different guys that may not have been given the kinds of opportunities that they were given if the brand split hadn't happened. But I mean, that's just me. You know, I'm not knocking the brand split, and it gave us some good wrestling games.
What kept the WCW show names and kept that going. They could have had doing a brand split that way, if competing against their own stuff on the same night, that would have been competition. Having it the way they have it, it's not.
Yeah, well, the problem there, from what I understand, so what I remember finding out during that time was that Vince was ready to make a deal when he bought WCW for pennies on the dollar. He wanted to make a deal to keep he didn't realize that one of the reasons why Bischoff and his group backed out of the deal and said it was done was because Turner refused to give them television time. So when Vince bought it, he mainly bought it for the name and for the library so that he could just own it. And he, again, bought it for nothing. But Vince's idea was, let's put this on television. He wanted that competition. And I think the idea was going to be, if I remember correctly, Shane was actually going to be the face of WCW, run that second show, but Turner didn't want it. And there was also some contractual issues with that because he had his deal with NBC, and NBC wasn't going to put on competition for itself on the same night. They weren't going to let him go to someone else to air competition. So, yeah, there were so many things, but I know that that was the original intent. And when they couldn't make that happen, it became Raw versus SmackDown so that there was some kind of at least tension and internal competition, because it did create Raw versus SmackDown. They really were trying to say, and there was a time when SmackDown, multiple times, where SmackDown's been the bigger show. Think of the Roman Reigns era when SmackDown on Fox was beating Raw in the ratings. When Paul Heyman was the creative director of SmackDown, they were beating Raw in the ratings. And, so there's some good and bad there. I get the idea. Yeah, there was some 6-7 going on. I get the idea, though, that it was a little frustrating if you came up like I did through the 80s, through the 90s, through the Attitude Era, and you were used to just watching one show, and when you got to the next show, it just continued the story, right? When you watch Seinfeld and you watch one episode, when you get to the next episode, you shouldn't have a whole new cast of characters that you're watching. You should still watch the same cast, just in a new adventure, right? So that's, I get it. I get it, though. Grandmaster going crazy in the chat here. Let's get to him. He's jumping ahead, though. Jumping ahead into 25, which we're not there yet. But Chris Hall agrees with you, George, and says that you aren't the only one. I hate brand split too. I think the reason I don't like it today only because I don't have cable anymore. And so I can watch everything but SmackDown. Well, I guess I can't watch NXT, but I never really watched NXT. I only watched the pay-per-views on Peacock and stuff. But yeah, I can't watch SmackDown. So I can't see Cody Rhodes. I couldn't see. The only time we ever watched SmackDown was when we went to it for my birthday. You remember that, Seth?
Yeah.
When we went to SmackDown, and that was really cool. That was actually towards the beginning of the Triple H era, and it was one of the first times they teased Bray Wyatt, but it wasn't on television. They only teased him to the live crowd. And I remember seeing the little teaser of the White Rabbit and stuff, and I went, I wonder if that's Bray. And it was like, boom, yes. I was so happy. All right. Seth, you got anything to add about WrestleMania 24?
Just that I don't think anything I mean, unless you want the rating. I have the rating.
What's the rating?
8.5 out of 10.
That's a good rating. That's a good rating. And
Yeah.
I guarantee you most of that is Flair, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, has to be.
I mean, it's because
Absolutely.
of the story and the matches. Both of it was so good. Taker, Edge, 2, and then everything else after. Chris Hall saying they need one streaming platform. They had one. I can go on a rant all day about this, bro. Don't get me started on me
The
having
passion in your eyes. Just
oh,
like, oh, here it comes.
$10. I had everything at my hand. You know who ruined it? You all did.
Oh,
My subscription never lapsed for the WWE Network. I had it from the day it came out. The very first day it was available, we got it. And I never let it lapse. It was all of you. You didn't support it, and now I almost cursed. Now you're complaining. I almost did it again. You're all complaining now about how much you have to spend, right? But I want you to remember this too. Remember this, people. I'm going to tell you this. Benny, George, Ashton, you all are old enough to remember how much it cost to be a pro wrestling fan back in the day. Anyway, pay-per-views got up to like $50 a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, like $60, $70 a pay-per-view. Many of you don't remember those days because that's how long it's been since pay-per-views were a thing. Pay-per-view.
And you'd have to get WWF, you'd have to get WCW, and if you're an ECW fan, every
Right.
month while you'd have that in there. So you'd have like $150 a month that you were spending to support professional wrestling.
Right.
So when the network came out for $9.99, you better bet you're behind. And I had that from the day there until it became Peacock, and I had Peacock until they no longer on Peacock. So
And here's the deal, Peacock. If it wasn't for WWE, I wouldn't have Peacock. But now I love Peacock, and I wouldn't know it if it wasn't for WWE. And the network, I say timing is so much of life. So much of life is timing. The network, at that time, I want you to remember what life was like when the WWE Network came out. It was just before WrestleMania 30, right? The WWE Network came out. You know what didn't exist when WWE Network came out?
Me?
HBO. You were here.
Oh.
HBO Max didn't exist. Paramount Plus didn't exist. Disney Plus didn't exist. Think about that. No Peacock.
all the multiple streaming services were not even a thing.
The only one that existed was Netflix. Netflix was the only streaming service, and Hulu, but we don't count Hulu.
What's wrong with
Kidding.
Hulu,
I'm
man?
kidding. I'm kidding. Hulu has given us many years of joy. Hulu was the AEW if Netflix was WWE. It was like just huge. Hulu's still good. Still served a purpose. You know, the next day streaming thing was a great hook. But Netflix was king. Here comes WWE.
I watch more Hulu than Netflix nowadays.
Do you? See,
Yeah.
I think I don't know because now it's all on Disney. So I don't.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I don't know if what I'm watching is Hulu or Disney since it's all one thing.
If it doesn't look like it's for kids, it's Hulu.
Okay. But yeah, I think it was too far like ahead of the streaming era. And WWE fans, I don't think knew really what it was. And that might sound really weird, but again, it's about the time that it came out. Netflix and Hulu, only game in town. And here comes WWE. Well, what was I getting with it? What am I getting with this WWE Network? Oh, I get to watch the pay-per-views. or they thought it was just where you watched all the old school stuff, right? Hopefully they didn't think it was where you went to watch just the original content, which some of that was pretty good. I liked Legends House, by the way. I actually really like that. But now looking back, I think a lot of guys are like, why don't they have their own streaming network? I see people online saying things like that. Like, oh, bring back the WWE network. They wouldn't have to if you'd have all subscribed to it. Yes, it would probably be now multiple tiered options. And the highest tier would probably maybe be $15, right? For an ad-free version. And then there'd be the $10 ad-supported version, right? That's probably where we would be. Or with TKO, knowing them, it'd be $25 for the no-ad version. But
Vince is trying to get it back from them.
That's what I've heard. I've heard a lot of stories. I've heard Saudis are going for it. That Saudi Arabia wants to buy WWE. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows?
I think if Vince is found not guilty, he'll probably be able to pull it off. But if he's found guilty, again, we still don't know. Everyone talks to all the stuff about Vince, but you're innocent until proven guilty. So
right.
And
the thing is if as much as you might not like Vince towards the end creatively or storytelling wise, because let's be honest, it was rough. Vince, the one thing Vince did do that we found out and really started to appreciate was the fact that TKO literally came out and said Vince was trying always to keep pricing across the board family friendly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's nice of him. So that explains why when we went to WrestleMania, our tickets were like $30. And now where we were sitting is probably $300. So it's crazy. But all right, soapbox done. I'm getting off my soapbox. I can't because I could do the rest of the show could just be about it really could. I have it written down that one of our shows this year is going to be about how I blame the WWE universe for the failing of the WWE network. No holds barred. I'm coming after you, WWE universe.
Is that going to be your positively a pipe bomb?
Yes, it is.
Gonna have to check for Fenmore and say a couple profanities.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to invite anybody on the show. It's just going to be me, just like it is for Warriors Unleashed, and I am just going to go. And I'm holding nothing back on that one. It's going to be a lot of fun for me. All right, let's go to WrestleMania 25, the show that is the worst titled show in the history of WrestleMania. I give this the worst title than the Once in a Lifetime, because at least the Once in a Lifetime in that moment, you could play that off, even though we all knew something was up.
What's this one?
What really grinds Pat's gears? The WWE Universe. I even have that for my reaction shows. I took the what grinds my gears and I turned it into a me instead of Peter Griffin, and I do that on the reaction shows. But anyway, so WrestleMania 25. What's the tagline for WrestleMania 25? Seth, what does it say right there on the screen? What does it say?
25th anniversary.
25th anniversary. You know why that's stupid?
Because it's blatantly obvious.
It's the 24th anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Technically.
When you've been married, when you get married, that's not the first year that you're married.
Well, yeah, that's
it's the next. WrestleMania 2 was the first anniversary of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 25 is the 24th anniversary of WrestleMania. Dumbest tagline ever. Who allowed that?
What really grinds Pat's gears?
These 10 WrestleManias. Wait till we get to next week. Wait, there's some real stuff for me to go off on next week. WrestleMania 31 to 40. It ends on a good note. Believe me, it ends on a good note. Just be thankful that my biggest complaint tonight about 25 is the tagline.
I didn't know it gets worse from here.
It gets worse because 27 comes 2 WrestleManias later. And that's right up there with WrestleMania 11. And we all know how I feel about WrestleMania 11. It is not good. All right, WrestleMania 25 though, as a show, is a pretty good show. It has the one big flaw that it shares with WrestleMania 18, and that is that the main event is overshadowed by a match that preceded it. And the main event did not do itself any favors by shoehorning itself, by making it so that if you get disqualified, you lose the title. The whole build-up to this should have been for a no disqualification match. The intensity was there. The storyline was there for the most epic battle between Triple H and Randy Orton. They didn't let that happen. They shoehorned him in. And the main event was lackluster. It was not great. But 25 features what is still, for me, my favorite WrestleMania match of all time. Shawn Taker won. And I think what helps Shawn Taker won is that I knew those two could put on a match. I didn't know they could do it at this point in their careers this well. And the only downside that I have to this match is, same with Hogan Rock, is I felt like the match helped people think that false finishes were what made matches great. And this match had some great false finishes, but that's not what made the match great. All right? But a lot of people went that route. A lot of wrestlers went that route, and you see so many false finishes now. It's like they're not as impactful as they used to be. So, but WrestleMania 25, George, your thoughts on WrestleMania 25 and what makes this must-see WrestleMania?
Undertaker, Shawn, hands down. Like hands down, no questions asked. That match was, if there could be a perfect wrestling match, that was it.
Yep. As Ducky would say.
The other one in here, which I believe is actually in the intro of this show, is Cena and Edge in the Big Show. I believe Cena goes for the double AA, picks both of them up on his back.
Yep.
So that was also good. You also had Chris Jericho having a feud. Was it what because of the movie? The Wrestler had come out, so he was fighting all the old timers. Like Roddy Piper, Steamboat, Jimmy Snuka, Flick Flair. I don't think Flair wrestled, but he was there.
In their corner. Yeah, with and Mickey Rourke was in the crowd, and he came out. He faced off against Jericho at the end of the match.
So you had that, and then you also had the Hardy Boys fighting each other in an Extreme Rules match. Top to bottom, outside of that main event, it was a really good card. I mean, you had some filler matches like Santino Marella stuff or whatever, but it was still a good, a really, really, really good card there. But
I thought Santino was a highlight.
Oh, please. I agree with you. If they had let Triple H and Orton and they pulled the restraints off and let them go, that probably could. I don't think it would have ever beaten Taker and Shawn, but it would have been way, way better and more entertaining.
Yeah. I think we would be talking about that match today in a positive way. Either people don't talk about it at all, or they talk about how lackluster it was. But yeah, Santina is a perfect example of Vince. That was Vince all the way. That is Vince McMahon humor right there. And so this is for the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal deal, and who of course is singing everyone to the ring but Kid Rock. WWE Hall of Famer Kid Rock. Singing everyone, singing all the ladies to the ring. This was back when, I think I had kind of fallen off the Kid Rock thing. I liked him back in the day. Like when Taker first came out as Biker Taker to the American Badass song and stuff, I kind of liked Kid Rock back then. Cowboy, Ba with the Ba, or however that thing's called. Seth, what are you laughing at?
Whatever you just
That's
said.
what the name of the song is. Ba with the Ba.
Near the song.
Yeah.
Ba with the ba.
It just sounds. I can't say that. The R word. Ba with the Ba. You can't say it and not sound like a toddler. What are you listening to?
I think Undertaker was the only reason why I liked Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Kid Rock growing up, especially in high school, man. Kid Rock was it, man.
Anybody else wish?
I had all his albums before somebody stole like 3 of them on me. I had like all of them.
Anybody else wish
He
Taker?
was in the movie Barker Boys, which I really liked too.
Yeah. Anybody else wish Taker would come out to Rollin' instead of American Badass though? The Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Keep rolling,
Especially,
rolling.
he's on the bike.
Yeah.
Rolling down.
I loved rolling,
you know.
rolling. I thought that was such a cool one for Biker Taker. I didn't like the Dead Man Walking one. I didn't like that. You done it now. Like it felt too Big Show. Well, it's a Big Show. Yeah, I thought I didn't like that one. I didn't.
That one didn't last long.
No, but now you notice if you watch a lot of the old stuff, they got rid of some of the like rolling ones and stuff and replaced it with the Dead Man Walking one for copyright for so they don't have to pay Limp Bizkit all the time. But all right, Ashton, since you're on the screen, give me your thoughts on WrestleMania 25, the 24th anniversary.
How many times did CM Punk win the Money in Bank ladder match? Twice. So it was 2 years in a row then, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, he was in it. He was in a lot of them then, but he won them twice.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, I was looking back at it and I'm like, oh, he won again, huh? Okay. But yeah, so there's that. But I think my favorite match was the John Cena Edge and Big Show match. And what was it? He's so strong. He got both of them up for the double AA.
Yeah, I like how Big Show. I think Big Show was asked like who the strongest guy, and it was like Mark Henry and John Cena.
Yeah, he said Mark Henry was the absolute strongest,
right? And
John Cena was like you felt like a baby in his arms.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because Cena, I mean, anybody that has muscles that big, you look strong, right? But a lot of times, the truth is, a lot of times bodybuilders, the muscles show because they're not lifting for strength. They're not lifting like World's Strongest Men lift, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a reason bodybuilders look one way, and then people that power lift look like Mark Henry.
Yeah. You got your functional strength, and then you got your I'm going to do this one time strength.
Right. And John Cena. Now, I'm not going to make any assumptions on what he is or isn't on or anything like that. But the dude has been blessed. Like, for real.
Yeah.
I don't care what he's on or not on. Genetically, he is blessed because the guy can do both. And
he made sure he was always in the gym, always making sure he can lift the heaviest guys around.
Yeah. And he didn't have the biggest legs. That was the funny part. Like it looked relatively small, but yeah, great moment. All right, Benny. We haven't heard from Benny. People might have forgotten that Benny the Jet is here, so we need to reintroduce them to the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man who had a streak of his own going, much like the Undertaker in our preview shows, which was broken during the last pay-per-view, but amazing nonetheless. Benny the Jet Scala, your thoughts on WrestleMania 25?
Yeah, no longer the lowercase G God, but
that's right.
I'll tell you what, if the only match was Undertaker Shawn Michaels, this would have been a hell of a WrestleMania. Just that match. I'm with you, Pat. I think this may be it's my favorite Taker WrestleMania match, and it may be like right up there with my all-time favorite WrestleMania match. It was just that good. It was amazing. And when you consider both of these guys were at the time 44 years old.
Right.
And so they weren't spring chickens.
No.
I did like the Jericho match. Not so much. I mean, Piper and Snuka were really kind of over the hill, but Steamboat really impressed me because he was still in amazing shape and he could wrestle competitively with Jericho.
And they followed it up the next month. They allowed those two to go one-on-one and put on one heck of a match.
Right.
I mean, Steamboat, I think we all thought his career was done. But he got a really great like send off in a sense for in ring, just really really good stuff. All right, we're gonna keep moving here. Seth, you got anything to add about 25, the 24th anniversary?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna hammer that home every time.
Yeah, nothing but the rating. Everything else
What's
is
the rating? What's the rating on it?
This one's also 8.5 out of 10.
Wow.
And it says that there's a disclaimer carried heavily by the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
It would have to be, yeah. Like the Hardys was fun, but it didn't get near enough time. Like they should have cut the women's battle royal thing out and given that time to Matt and Jeff. They rushed that match, and so it didn't have the same emotion, and it didn't tell the same story that I think it could have. So, all right, moving on. Our next WrestleMania comes from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, for the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 26. And originally, for this Hall of Fame, because now the Hall of Fame has become a thing during WrestleMania season, the night before is the Hall of Fame. This was where they wanted to get the Ultimate Warrior back into the fold because he was from Arizona, and he refused, said no, and it would be another few years before that would become a reality for everyone. But this WrestleMania is an interesting one. You have your main event, which is Shawn and Undertaker 2, which I think is the more emotional match of the two because it's it's streak versus career. And if Shawn loses, that's the end of his career. If Taker loses, there goes the streak. And at this point, both seemed almost equally as important, which sounds crazy that the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak was on that high a pedestal. And you'll find out how important that is when we get to WrestleMania 30. But WrestleMania 26 had a really awesome stage setup with like the pyramid thing that they did there. Really, really cool looking. But 26, I'll be honest with you, there's not my memory of 26 is not overly positive for the most part. I felt like 26 was a step down. 27 took a nosedive before starting to pick things back up slowly but surely with WrestleMania 28. But 26, I mean, you had Triple H versus Sheamus, and a little bit underwhelming matchup. I thought Sheamus was going to come out on top on this one, and that did not happen. Triple H went over, and that didn't make any sense to me. I thought Sheamus should have gone over. I believe this was the WrestleMania where the Money in the Bank went to he's the lisper. Somebody help me out.
Swagger.
Jack Swagger. There you go. It was in my head. I could hear his music in my head. You know, where because eventually he would do the thing where he put his hand over his heart. We the people, yeah. Jack Swagger did not call that one. I lost that one. We actually did, for the WrestleMania party for this year, we did one of those boards like you do at football games and stuff. And we all got to pick who won each match. I had other things like who's going to make a surprise return here, who's going to do this here. And my wife was the only person, and I don't even know why she picked it, but my wife picked Jack Swagger to win the Money in the Bank. Only person that did. I picked Drew McIntyre because he was the freaking chosen one at the time. Why wasn't the chosen one given the Money in the Bank? I don't know. I'm confused about the anniversary thing. Like, we got married in 2008. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Our 18th anniversary. So I'll explain this again. When we got married, that was not our first anniversary. That was our marriage date. A year later, that's our first anniversary.
So we would just passed our 17th anniversary.
No. Our 18th. It's our 18th year anniversary.
It's been 18 years.
My wife
but
is
it's
not
the 19th year of being married.
Right. Thank you, Seth. Not good with math.
No, it doesn't make sense
It makes perfect sense. Stop interrupting my show. It makes perfect sense.
It's math.
We're mathing on the show. Today's math lesson for the Positively Pat Sim show is how many years is 18 anniversaries?
18.
That's true.
So how many years is 25?
Okay, but the 25th year anniversary of something would be 26. If one is one. The first WrestleMania was not the first anniversary of WrestleMania.
So when we got married, it wasn't our first anniversary.
No, it wasn't. Our first anniversary was the end of the first year. We're doing this all day.
Oh,
all
my
day.
gosh.
I think
Ashton, help me.
So you are correct in the WrestleMania numbering.
Right.
The 25th anniversary of WrestleMania should be number 26.
Right. Correct.
Because it goes WrestleMania 1,
Yeah.
2, 3. But when it comes to marriage, the 25th anniversary is actually your 25th year of
Right.
being married.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because the day you get married is not marriage anniversary number one. It's
Yeah,
just the
it's
first
1
day of your
year.
marriage. Right.
First anniversary.
I think the confusion here is marriage is based on a whole different like
Pay
you base
attention,
it,
people.
You base it on the difference between the year you were married and the year now. While
Yes,
she's
let's let
basing,
Seth explain this.
She's basing the anniversary of WrestleMania based on the title of WrestleMania. So if you base it on the year of when WrestleMania 1 was, that would be a lot easier to explain that it's the 24th anniversary.
Yeah, are you getting all this, people?
Because the difference between those is 24.
This is making sense? Yes. Oh, and I know too many numbers. Yeah. So, honey, I don't know if you heard Ashton.
No, we can talk about it later.
It makes sense, though. No, I'm enjoying
You
this.
should hear me. My explanation is the best.
WrestleMania 1 is the first WrestleMania. So WrestleMania 2 is the first anniversary of WrestleMania. That's why
Second
you're a year behind.
is our first anniversary.
No.
What?
It's different.
No.
According to that.
No.
No.
It's different.
Okay.
'cause Our wedding is not anniversary 1. Our wedding is the first day. At the end of year 1, you have your first anniversary. So every year you add to that, where WrestleMania is labeled from 1 on. So 2 is the first anniversary. 3 is the second. 4 is the third.
If WrestleMania was labeled like marriages, it would be like WrestleMania, then WrestleMania 1. then
Right.
WrestleMania
Yeah.
2.
There you go. And that
Yeah.
would be even more confusing.
Oh yeah, it'd be so confusing.
It's kind of like Xbox
Oh, let's
Or
not-
Mortal-
Xbox 360.
or Mortal Kombat.
and then Xbox X.
Oh, that's even.
Mortal Kombat 11. What's next? Mortal Kombat 1.
What?
What?
It
And
didn't,
then
it didn't
Mortal
even go
Kombat
through a dozen
13.
yet. It was just like more.
And then there's Godzilla. -1.
And Godzilla, same year,
I wonder how many people were thrown by WrestleMania 2000.
right?
How many people went, wow, they've had a lot of those.
Mom.
But ladies and gentlemen, the birth
Oh.
of Jesus and WrestleMania happened at the same time.
well, technically, the year 2000 is based on Jesus, so it's actually the year 2001.
Oh, come on. Don't
We're not doing that.
Don't
We're
start.
not doing that.
Don't start. Where are we, by the way? Ashton,
All right, let's
what
go ahead
makes
and get back on track.
what makes WrestleMania? I am sweating. What makes WrestleMania 26 must see?
Oh man, going through what happened that year. The only two things that I can say I enjoyed was Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk.
Yeah.
And Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, I was a John Cena and Batista fan, but I mean, I honestly didn't care much for their match.
Yeah, the match was a little
Undertaker
underwhelming.
versus Shawn Michaels did overshadow the entire show. So
Yeah, I felt like we were all just waiting for that one, the whole show, which is not good. You know,
Yeah, because it's like you wanted to see who, like, what's gonna die first, the streak or the career. So it's
Right.
like you can either lose the streak and then keep it going, or it's like you might not have Shawn Michaels anymore.
all right, Benny, WrestleMania 26. What do you got for me?
Yeah. Again, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, and it's so ironic because as Undertaker's starting to slow down, he's going this way, but the streak is getting elevated year by year, and the
Yeah.
very fact that you can can compare the career of Shawn Michaels with the streak in the same breath really speaks volumes to how much it got elevated.
Absolutely. That's what we mentioned earlier. It's just, it's crazy, and it just kept growing and growing. Every year it got bigger and bigger. 28 is still just such a huge deal for the streak. And when even the thought of it ending during the match would make you go crazy. George, your thoughts on WrestleMania 26? What do you got for me?
Let's see here. So again, I agree. Undertaker and Shawn, where Shawn retires, was, again, like you said, it's emotional feel, hit you in the hearts. But I mean, another thing on that show, which was in there, was Bret Hart defeated Mr. McMahon.
Oh, why are you going there? I said what makes it worth watching.
Well, it makes it worth watching only because it's this is after Bret's concussion. I mean,
Right.
he couldn't really get physical or whatever, so it
Right.
was like the worst sharpshooter and punch I think I've seen from Bret ever. But it was, to finally conclude the Montreal Screwjob, right? So it had a story to go into it, right? So, people who want to see.
I just thought, here's I thought the whole Hart family should have been left out of it. We didn't need them. And then, of course, they do the double turn right off the bat. There's no tension, no nothing. It's just boom, everyone's now on Bret's side. And then Vince was like 25 minutes of torture. It should have been Bret coming to the ring. Vince comes to the ring. Bret whoops on him for about 5 minutes, puts him in the sharpshooter. End of story. Go home. I think I would have thought that would have been perfect. I would have been happy with that. It just went forever, and I'm even like, okay, I'm good. Like, let's go home. Let's move on to Taker now. Yeah, it was, the story was there. The story was there for an epic beatdown of short proportions. So,
and the other thing you had was Jericho beating Edge for the world title.
That's right. Yeah. Again, I kind of forgot about that. This was when Jericho started wearing tidy whities instead of the instead of the long pants. He started wearing trunks. But yeah, for the World Championship, Edge won the Royal Rumble, and they tried getting the chant spear off the ground, and that did not really pay off very well. All right, we got to keep moving here because my rants have been epic this morning, and we're moving on to WrestleMania 27. Speaking of ranting, I'm going to shut up for a minute because I could crap all over this one. However, before this WrestleMania, we were wondering who the host was going to be. I remember the rumors flying around that it could be none other than Justin Bieber. There were so many rumors flying around, but it was going to be announced at the Honda Center on Valentine's Day. So, of course, what did we do? I took my wife on Valentine's Day to the Honda Center for Monday Night Raw. And I remember thinking like, oh, maybe Taker's going to show up because they were doing it. But then I realized it was like the next week was going to be when Taker showed up. But we were going to get the reveal of who the host was. And when The Rock was announced, and for those of you making fun of AEW's attendance, Honda Center, Monday Night Raw, half the arena is completely empty. All right, just the non-camera side, completely empty. When The Rock came out, you would have thought it was a sold-out house. The place erupted louder than when I was there for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's not to say The Rock's more popular than Stone Cold was then, but this was the first time The Rock had been here in years. And the place lost its mind. It was amazing. So The Rock is your host of WrestleMania 27, your main event, the epic Clash of Titans that was The Miz versus John Cena. For me, the highlight of the night, the only thing worth talking about for this show that makes it worth watching, for me anyway, is, and you had Randy Orton and CM Punk, but Triple H and Undertaker. Triple H and Undertaker, for me, that's it. And they should re-edit the show to edit out Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole. Just take that and just put it over here with Piper and Bad News. If we can take out Piper and Bad News for as horrible as that the Piper's half blackface was, we can take out Jerry and Michael Cole for as poor taste as that match was. All right, George, since you're on the screen, give us your thoughts on WrestleMania 27.
Again, Undertaker versus Triple H. Hell of a match. If my memory serves me right, isn't this the one where after the match Taker won, but then he couldn't stand and basically had to be stretchered out? Like he was and set up for future matches there.
Yep, long-term storytelling, people.
Yep, long-term. And again, you had the thing which we still hear about to this day. Hey, The Miz defeating John Cena at WrestleMania because The Rock interfered. Anyway.
Right. And concussed.
Yeah. Yep. Well, what else do we have there?
Yeah, exactly. What else?
What title match? We had Edge defeated Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, and what we would not realize was going to be his last match for a long time.
Hamburger play, wasn't it? Was it like a triple threat?
No. It was just Edge versus Alberto. Edge destroyed Alberto Del Rio's car. And the next night, Edge renounces his retirement.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the last time we see Edge for many, many years.
Until the Royal Rumble, when one of the most epic returns that I can remember. I was so excited.
Lori had gone to bed, and I woke her up because I screamed. And she came out there because she had school the next day.
Yeah.
And she freaked out when she saw it too. So, let's see, what else do we have? I think Cody was still there. He hadn't left yet. Didn't Cody fight someone? Ray. Yeah, Cody fought Ray.
Yep. Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
But again,
it
was they weren't given a whole lot of time. This is WrestleMania at this point is a 4-hour show still. But they were still stacking the card. It was one of WrestleMania was get everybody on the show time. Which, I mean, that's great, but it takes away from a lot of the stories and a lot of time that these guys could go. I'm a fan of the 2-night WrestleMania. A lot of people aren't. I am, because I think everyone who worked hard to get to WrestleMania deserves to have their WrestleMania moment and be given enough time to go out there and show people what they can do. Benny.
Unless you're apparently.
What's that?
Unless your name is Bailey, apparently.
Oh. All right, Benny. Hey, Bailey got a good shot a couple years ago. She won the Rumble. She beat EO in WrestleMania. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah. Looks like she's having the same issue. But yeah, it was a joke.
Maybe that's more long-term storytelling. All right, Benny, your thoughts on WrestleMania 27. Give it to me.
Well, I think it's a darn shame that Alberto Del Rio did not connect with the WWE universe as well as he connected with the women that he allegedly
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked the guy. I thought, the guy had a great look. He really was a great wrestler, and I even thought I liked his promos. He just didn't connect though. Now again, for me, this is Undertaker Triple H. no holes barred. And like you said, the storytelling, just take the laying out there at the end of it. I mean, what a story that told.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very emotional.
The ending is so memorable because I think this is the second time Taker won with the Hell's Gate at WrestleMania, but the way that he won it with Triple H grabbing the sledgehammer and everyone's thinking, "Oh man, here we go." Triple H, he's going to end it because he's going to nail Taker, and he drops the sledgehammer, and you could feel the energy shift, and you're like, Taker's doing it. The streak continues. It was really, really awesome.
Very well done.
Yeah, I think the next documentary WWE should make should be the next the self-destruction of Alberto Del Rio.
There you go.
Put that up there. All right, Ashton, WrestleMania 27. What do you got?
WrestleMania 27. Not really one of my favorite ones.
Sorry.
But
if it is the 26th anniversary of WrestleMania.
No, it's the
but
27th.
yeah, I think
Seth, you're here.
Edge
I need you here.
Edge was one of my top guys around that time.
Yeah.
So I liked his match against Alberto Del Rio, and of course Undertaker's matches were always top tier. So
all right. Yeah, that's about like I said, and I'm glad nobody thought Lawler versus Michael Cole was worth watching.
Oh, those gimmicky matches, those are hit and miss.
Well, that was right up there with Brett. I'm gonna be honest with the Brett McMahon thing. I mean, yeah. Stone Cold was put in as the guest referee to make it more entertaining, and even when Stone Cold can't rescue it, like poor Stone Cold has been involved in two of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. Stone Cold was a special referee for Goldberg Lesnar at 20, and now Lawler and Michael Cole at 27. That poor man. Right? Like, just, that's horrible. And Lawler, I like how Ashton's camera keeps zooming in. Like, Ashton's camera keeps zooming closer and closer to his face.
Sorry about that.
But it was too long. Lawler Cole should have been what I said Vince and Brett should have been. It should have been Lawler going in there and just destroying Michael Cole quickly and getting out. Right? That's it. Just Lawler's greatest hits and go home. And that's not what happened. It was a long, dragged out POS match. All right. But we go from a poor WrestleMania to a year-long build. The first time ever that the night after WrestleMania 27, John Cena faces off against The Rock in the ring. And they announced that 1 year from now, they're going to be facing in a not so once in a lifetime matchup, The Rock versus Cena headlining WrestleMania. This was going to be step one in, I think, last year may have been step one, but this was definitely up there, getting CM Punk disgruntled in his spot in WrestleMania because you had The Rock. I mean, let's be fair. How could The Rock returning at WrestleMania not be the main event? We need to learn from the past. Hogan Rock should have headlined 18. Rock Cena needs to headline 28 10 years later. This is the same thing moved 10 years later. Punk and Jericho was not going to headline. But it was definitely step one. Or step one or two, depending on what you think. But 28 was definitely a step up. I am not in the camp that Daniel Bryan and Sheamus was terrible. Like, I thought it was funny. The fact that Sheamus won the title from Daniel Bryan in like 30 seconds or something like that, I thought that was hilarious. And I knew that Daniel Bryan had a lot more great things to come. Yeah, there was potential for a great match there, though, but, you know, it was a funny moment. You had AJ Lee over there giving old Daniel Bryan a little good luck kiss, and here comes Sheamus kissing him with his boot. End of match. I liked it. I thought it was funny. Two guys that really could have gone in the ring, but it was what it was. But you had.
I wonder when it comes to matches like that. I wonder like what goes into like them saying, okay, you're gonna do a squash match in 30 seconds, and yeah, that's it.
To me,
especially
honestly,
on WrestleMania,
right? So I think for me, honestly, I think that if you look at 28, I believe the only two matches that really got a lot of time was Triple H and Taker, and Rock and Cena. I think, and Jericho and Punk got a decent amount of time, but everything else seemed relatively quick, and so you had a lot of. I think you had to move things along pretty quickly, and I think that may have been an issue with your first match. And I think they thought, well, if we can't give those two guys enough time to put on a 5-star match, then let's do something memorable. Let's do something that's going to grab people's attention right off the bat. And it worked. In my opinion, it worked. You know why? Because whether you liked it or you didn't, people were talking about it. It got you. It either got you up and excited, or it got you pissed off. Either way, it made you feel something. It made it.
The WWE, like all publicity is good publicity. So
right, and that's exactly what it did. And it actually, I think, for me, it helped elevate Daniel Bryan, because people, whenever you do something like that to a guy you want to see go and you want to see get out there, it lights a fire under them to support that person even more. So I think that helped take Daniel Bryan up and up and up, and would lead us after 28 into Team Hell No, which is one of my favorite teams ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a tag team.
That was a good team.
I mean, team up, right? Like tag teams, that's a different story. But as two singles wrestlers teaming up, Team Hell No was amazing. But 28. Let's start. Seth, what information do you have on 28? What's some things that what's the rating that they give 28?
Well, you skip past the 6.
I don't need to know what
you skip past the 6 out of 10 stars. But
what 27 was 6? They got that high?
Yeah.
On the back of Triple H and Taker, it got 6. Okay.
But 28 gets there was a smudge on the screen. It looked like 0.8 out of 10, but it's 8 out of 10.
All right. Much better showing.
Because of the once in a lifetime Rock defeats
Not so
Cena.
once in a lifetime.
Yeah. The first in a lifetime. How about that?
First in a lifetime.
Right. Triple H, Taker, and Hell in a Cell absolutely elevates this one. Again, I think for me, match-wise, Taker, again, steals the show. I mean, think about that. Taker now on his 4th year has what is probably the best match. Maybe 5th year, but I give it to Flair, Shawn at 24. But definitely 4 years in a row, Taker is involved in the best match of the night. And this one didn't even take advantage of, they didn't have to leave the cage. They didn't go up to the top of the cage. They didn't pull out a bunch of weapons. They just locked two guys in the Hell in a Cell. They beat the living crap out of each other and told, the most important thing, they told a great story. Shawn Michaels, the special guest referee, you thought Taker lost the streak. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, super kick. Triple H hits the pedigree. That's it. Streak is over. Nope. Streak actually continued. And we get the memorable moment where Taker, Shawn, and Triple H, in mutual respect, are standing at the top of the ramp, embracing each other. And we've seen behind the scenes stuff where they get back into gorilla position, and that whole kind of moment continues. But you also bring Vince into it and everything else. It's just such a great, great moment. All right. Ashton, your thoughts on WrestleMania 28?
Yeah, man, the Hell in a Cell match, that was fire. It was a great story. Special guest Shawn Michaels as guest referee did everything well. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing I didn't need anything more from the match after watching it. It's like everything I needed, everything I wanted, and everything I needed was there. Rock versus John Cena. It would have been nice if it was once in a lifetime. But I mean, I guess since we got like what was it like three Rock versus Cena's.
Well, two at WrestleMania. We had WrestleMania 28 and 29.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I mean, I guess since that was the start of Rock passing the torch to John Cena, so it's like you almost got it, kid. You almost got it. I'm not ready to give it up yet.
Right. Yeah, 29 would be the official kind of passing of the torch, WWE Championship, where The Rock got pretty badly injured, and Michael Bay famously told The Rock to stop wrestling in his underwear after he got hurt, which The Rock did not listen to and came back and did it again. Benny, your thoughts on WrestleMania 28?
This one was rated by Bleacher Report as the 9th best of all time. Well, I could see that.
Yeah, top 10.
I think of the 10 years that we're covering, I believe it had the highest buy rate.
Yep.
At 1.38 million. So that's at least from a financial perspective, definitely a big success.
Well, that's the highest of all time.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
All right, and the story between three of the best ever: Undertaker, Triple H, and Shawn as the referee. Again, if that was the only match, it would have been worth the money.
Yep. 100%. George, give it to me. What makes WrestleMania 28 worth watching?
Again, you had the year-long build-up between Cena and The Rock, and just if you're doing anything for a year long in wrestling, it ends up, being really, really, really good if they continue the story going. To get the Sting storyline in WCW, that was years and years and years of build up, right? Like, so it was another thing similar to that. It was really, really, really good. I was convinced that Cena was actually going to win it because I thought The Rock was just a one and done. And then we come to find out that wasn't the case, and The Rock won that. So I was completely shocked by that. Obviously, again, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, you have Shawn as the referee. Like you said, you were convinced that Shawn was going to help him, and Shawn tried. But the only thing that got me was that Shawn still counted the 3 for Taker. I thought he was not going to do it, but he did. So that really got me there. You also had when Machine Gun Kelly and whatever the other guy was. They had those 2 songs, the Wild Ones and the other one. Yeah. They had all of them out there. That just the whole WrestleMania felt like a WrestleMania.
Right. I'm good without concerts at WrestleMania. I don't know.
I like them. Great, but it's got to be like really, really, really good.
Right. I mean, like I used to like when they would do, or they still do it, where they bring out the guys that sing the theme song for the wrestler. I like that. Right. When they do the entrance live, I like that. I'm not big on when they bring out like Flo Rida and Pitbull, Kid Rock just to perform at WrestleMania. I feel like that takes time away from the wrestlers and why we're here in the first place. But
it gets time for people to go to the bathroom and get some food.
All right, let's keep moving here. To answer the question, I thought Michael Bay was Transformer movies and stuff. When was he part? He was not part of the wrestling world. That's the point. So Michael Bay was making a movie with The Rock, Pain and Gain, and The Rock got hurt doing in his match with John Cena at this WrestleMania 29, and Michael Bay took it upon himself to make a comment that The Rock should stop wrestling, and even went to say that he should stop wrestling in his underwear because his movie career was too big, too important to risk it in the ring. Obviously, Michael Bay doesn't understand how professional wrestlers feel about professional wrestling. So, all right, moving on to WrestleMania 29. This is famously the WrestleMania where Triple H was really badly burned with, I believe it was dry ice during his entrance. It was pretty bad. And The Rock, again, famously got hurt with torn muscles and stuff, and tendons and stuff around his pelvic area during his match with John Cena, but finished the match like the stud that The Rock can be. And 29 also featured another banger from Taker that you could probably say was, again, the match of the night when it was Undertaker versus Punk. And there was a lot of controversial elements to this match in the build-up, which include the death of Paul Bearer and the use of the urn with what contained supposedly Paul Bearer's ashes. And a lot of people thinking that was very insensitive and so forth. But Taker and Punk have both kind of said that they would not have done it had the family not been okay with it. And if they didn't believe that Percy Pringle, the real Paul Bearer, wouldn't have loved it. And according to Taker, he felt Percy would have absolutely thought it was the greatest thing to be involved in that. So, yeah, it's your own personal preference whether you liked it or not, but the match itself I thought was absolutely brilliant between Punk and Taker. So, George, let's start with you. What do you think about WrestleMania 29? What makes it worth checking out?
Again, Taker and Punk that right away, just instantly. And basically, if there's a WrestleMania and Undertaker's involved, 9 times out of 10, outside of some of the earlier ones, we're not going to go into that one, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But it's going to steal the show. Taker at this point in his career, he could, be on autopilot, half asleep, and still. I mean, heck, he had a great match even when he was concussed. So, what can we say? Like, it may not have been the best in the world, like his all-time best he's ever done, but like it still great, right? So, you also had Triple H and Brock Lesnar, and I believe it was a no holds bars match. So, Lesnar and Triple H was in that one. Cena finally got his revenge on The Rock and finally got him, but it couldn't be an injured Rock because, as you know, Rock,
Yep.
What else was on that show? Oh, Team Hell No defeated Dolph Ziggler and Big E.
Yep. Yeah, little Team Hell No action. Loved it. The Shield made their first appearance. A WrestleMania appearance.
Sheamus and Show, I think, right?
It's Randy Orton,
yeah.
Big Show, and Sheamus.
Right.
Yeah. And it was just an overall good card, and they think the Miz won an IC belt that night too, so it was just a good show.
All right, Benny, tell me about WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, I was at first, before I watched it, I was concerned, like, could Punk work well with Taker? I mean, given the size difference, Punk is kind of slight. I mean, different with Triple H, different with Shawn Michaels, and any of his other opponents. But man, oh man, they really pulled it off and then some. That was a great match. That was a standalone. If that was the only match, I'm loving it. And then you had Cena and Rock, so it's a very good WrestleMania.
Ashton, what do you got for me?
Yeah, this WrestleMania, I became a fan of the Shield later on, and then I went back and I saw this match. I was like, oh man, they were really working. So that was a good match that they were in. CM Punk versus Undertaker was a great match, and it showed that CM Punk could he can go with the big guys too, and not just guys his size. So this is one of those matches that like helped that like let me be like CM Punk is he is as good as he says he is. And then at the end with the Rock and Cena, the torch was passed fully this time. And later on, you get John Cena getting to understand like why the Rock does what he does while he's in Hollywood, because he's like, I understand now. I can't do these things, and I'm sorry, Rock.
So an interesting WrestleMania, when you think about the like what you just said, so Cena passing the torch to, or Rock passing the torch to Cena, which a very similar thing happened when Hogan passed the torch to Rock. All of a sudden, Hogan passes the torch to Rock. Rock starts becoming a little bit of a part-timer. Is not a headliner. I mean, he's a headliner, but he's not in the main event of WrestleMania 19. He barely makes it in time for WrestleMania 20, and then he's non-existent for years. So it felt like passing the torch didn't do what it was meant to do. And here, Rock passes the torch to Cena, and this is essentially feels like, if you go and look at where Cena ends up, it almost feels like the end of the Cena era for a while. Because
yeah, I mean, he kind of followed in the Rock's footsteps, as in like, going into movies and doing other things, and then he realizes, oh man, this is a really hard schedule to have. Where if I want to be a wrestler, then I really can't do anything else.
Right.
The type of commitment he wanted Rock to have, he's like, there's no way he could do it. He can do that and do these things he's doing.
Right. And 29, to your point too, it was another one where I finally was like, Punk, I think really is up there in terms of talent. Like the Jericho one, I thought was going to prove that Punk deserved to be in that main event spot, but it fell a little under expectations in the year prior. But this one with Taker, I was like, all right, I want to see Punk in that main event spot. I think Punk's earned it. He needed to come off a great title run. He had already earned it. But I felt this match was the match that really set him apart. And then he's nowhere to be found for WrestleMania 30. Punk is gone from WrestleMania, or from WWE. Seth, what is WrestleMania 29's rating on whatever you're looking at?
A step down, 7.5.
A 7.5. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if I would put that. I know Triple H Brock went a little long. It wasn't quite as exciting as it should have been. And I thought the wrong guy went over. But that's kind of par for the course on a lot of Triple H matches. I'll be honest. Even though he has, I'm going to be honest. Triple H has lost plenty. He lost both times to Taker. He lost to Batista. But there were times when I'm like, the wrong guy went over with Triple H. This was one of them. The Sheamus match we mentioned was another one. There's been a few of those where I thought, nah. Booker T, WrestleMania 19. I don't have to say anymore. That's wrong decision. All right. All right, let's move on to Bless you.
Oopsie daisies.
Bless you, my child. WrestleMania 30. What a great event. I loved this one. And this event kicked off the WWE Network era. This was the first time that I did not have to purchase a pay-per-view. We were able to, the thing was the network at the time was only working on like your phone or your computer. So you had to connect your phone or your computer in an old school way to your television. You couldn't even like stream it from one thing to another. That wasn't possible then. So you had to connect your computer with an HDMI cable to the TV so that everyone could watch the show on your television. Right? It was what a time to be alive.
Such a good time.
It was.
Such a good time for technology.
And I got to say, I was so looking forward to WrestleMania 30. I just knew that the trajectory of Daniel Bryan was definitely leading us to a huge ending for him in this one. But he had to go through Triple H first in order just to get into the main event match. And you had Taker versus Brock Lesnar that I was highly looking forward to. I thought, here we go. We're still going strong with the streak and Taker's set of incredible matches. But the shows, who knew that the highlight of the night at that time may have been the opening bit, which wasn't a match at all. You have Hulk Hogan being introduced to the crowd and then calling the Superdome the Silver Dome multiple times. And it was funny. And then The Rock and Hogan both make fun of him for it. because both of them come out later, and you have 3 legendary WWE stars
You mean
in
the
the
Rock and
ring.
Stone Cold make fun of him for it?
Yeah, they both did the same.
Yeah.
They both called out Hogan, and they both laughed, and you see Hogan laughing, and it was one of those WrestleMania moments that will live forever. Again, think what you want about any of those guys. I mean, mainly Hogan, but you just could not deny at the opening of 30 the star power that was in that ring, the history of the 3 biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling in the same ring at that time. It was just unbelievable. Even Shawn Michaels approached them afterwards and says that they stole the show, that they just had the biggest moment of the night, and there hadn't even been a match yet. So
yeah, they absolutely did.
30 got off to a great start, and I thought 30 was a great show. But let's hear from you guys. Let's start with you, Ashton. What is the highlight? What makes WrestleMania 30 must see?
The must-see part of WrestleMania 30 is the ending of the streak.
Shut
Hate
up.
it or love it, that was
Hate it.
that was history in the making. And then it bred that one guy with the face.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It was more. Yeah, he showed more teeth.
Like, no. But yeah, man, the way that they ended the streak, I didn't like it, mainly because I don't think Brock Lesnar needed it.
No,
I think whoever ended the streak is the one who kind of like needed the push, and Brock Lesnar didn't need it. But I mean, they used it as to show how dominant he is with everything,
Right.
Going from after that. So
it makes sense. Brock
it
beating
made
Taker
sense,
makes sense,
and
but
honestly, they didn't waste it.
no,
they didn't waste it.
no. The follow up with SummerSlam where we get the squash of John Cena.
Yeah,
Yeah, that momentum of being the one in 21-1 followed Lesnar,
Mhm.
and yeah, it did work. Like I said, I get that if you're looking at the WWE landscape and you say, okay, well, who could possibly break the streak? Brock's the only guy, and it would make sense, right? And it
Yeah.
was kind of a last minute call. Vince made the decision. It wasn't Taker. Taker didn't necessarily agree with it, but Vince came to Taker and said, "This is it. We're ending the streak tonight. We got big plans for Lesnar." I think that Roman a couple of years later would have been a better call.
Yeah,
Like if there was nobody who needed to break the streak at that time, which Lesnar didn't need it, why break it? Right? Yes,
Yeah.
it makes sense, but if he doesn't need it necessarily, why break it? Let's either let the streak be something that never gets broken, which would be great, or save it for somebody that you can take and elevate to main event status, that you can elevate to being the man, which is what they could have done with Roman Reigns. They could have started the tribal chief stuff the day after beating Taker. Vince
yeah.
still
Absolutely,
won't.
they could have, but
They still
We got
Vince
what we
still
got.
tried to make him a babyface, and it just wasn't working. All right, Benny, WrestleMania 30, give it to me.
Yeah, this was rated by Bleacher Report as the 4th best of all time,
Wow.
and I'm sure it's because of the Taker Lesnar match. Now, I watched this at Hogan's Beach. Speaking of Hulk Hogan,
Wow.
Hogan's Beach, Tampa, which was a nice spot. It was there for about 10 years. Jimmy Hart actually was there on a regular basis. He kind of helped manage it. Yeah, very nice guy.
Didn't they do
But,
karaoke there? Very
yeah.
famously, like they would do karaoke contests and stuff there.
Oh yeah. And but I will tell you that you could hear a pin drop after that match.
Yeah.
It went completely silent.
Yep. And we all
And
thought
I
it was
do believe,
fake.
my opinion. I'm sorry.
We all thought it was not fake. That's the wrong word. We all thought it was a mistake
Right.
because they
right.
didn't
Same here.
They didn't
I mean,
play
I
the
think
graphic.
Collectively, same there.
No music, no graphic for like 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
I personally think that Taker's legacy should have been the streak. He retires the streak intact.
Yeah, and even as a Taker fan, like I know it would sound biased coming from me, but just the legacy of what that streak would have meant, and there's really, I don't think that will ever be duplicated, and I don't think it should. I think Taker earned over the years and deserves the accolades that come with that streak. For some of the horrible opponents he had to deal with, as well as some of the WrestleMania stealing matches that he had during it as well. I think that he earned to keep it. Like I said, the only time I would have been okay with it ending would have been if it was going to shoot a star that needed that rocket strapped to his butt to get to the moon, like a Roman Reigns or, someone of that ilk. All right, George, WrestleMania 30, as we start to wrap up this incredible math-filled show.
So yeah, again, you have Taker losing the streak to Lesnar, which was, everyone to say, again, he was concussed and he still managed to put on a decent, halfway decent match, right? So what can you say? Taker can, he could wrestle a broomstick, to quote Triple H, and he can make it look good. But this actually was like one of Laurie's most favorite WrestleManias, because this is the rise of the Yes Movement. This is when Daniel Bryan actually became the heavyweight champion. He went from being a B+ player to an A+ player. It was absolutely, phenomenal. And then, of course, you have the Shield defeated the Outlaws and Kane. But just the way they ended Mania 2 was with Daniel Bryan and the crowd went nuts, right? So they needed something after that Taker thing. So but yeah, it overall really, really great show. Again, my daughter's one of her favorite WrestleManias. To this day, she talks about it. So it's
and
I think Cena Bray Wyatt too, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah,
and won. Again, kind of I was a little bit thinking Bray should have walked away from that one, the winner. But I'm wrong a lot. Some good points made by Grandmaster. First of all, The Undertaker was taken away from the Superdome, WrestleMania 30, in an ambulance. Very famously, we see shots of Vince calling for assistance when Taker gets to the back. He suffered a severe concussion. He doesn't even remember the match, doesn't remember most of the day, and was allowed to go home the next day. But, that it kind of is why the match with Lesnar is serviceable but not great, I think, is because, Taker is probably usually the general in his matches and in control. And Lesnar was probably put off by the fact that now Taker isn't really calling the shots much. So, and he's got to be careful. Now Lesnar's got to be careful he doesn't hurt Taker any further. And I'm sure there was a part of him that thought, we got to figure out how to go home, with Taker being in this condition, and should we do it early? The other part,
did he even know he was concussed? Because he may not have even realized it.
Yeah, he may not have. I think, knowing the way these guys are, I would imagine Lesnar knew something was up, because I'm sure, as severe a concussion as he was, I'm pretty much doubting that Lesnar or that Taker was communicating nice and smooth and coherent. That he, by the end of the match, he was probably a little bit better. But I've been concussed before myself, and I can tell you that, sometimes you don't make any sense when you're, and I don't think I was severely, I just had a concussion. Nobody said severe with it. So the chances are Taker was probably slurring his words and mumbling for a little bit, and Lesnar was having to kind of babysit him through the match. The other part of this WrestleMania is a highlight and a downer all at the same time. Growing up, I was a fan of The Ultimate Warrior, and he stood out to me. Again, WrestleMania 6 is the WrestleMania that made me a lifelong WWE fan, a pro wrestling fan, because I watched that one from beginning to end, and it was amazing. And Warrior won the title that night, and Warrior finally took his place in the WWE Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania 30 and appeared on Raw the next night. Gave one of the most eerie and unfortunately prophetic promos in all of professional wrestling history, as he talked about how a man's heart will beat its final beat and he will take his final breath. And the very next day, the Ultimate Warrior passed away. But for 3 days, it felt like all was right with the Ultimate Warrior and the professional wrestling world for the first time in a very, very long time. And we all famously now know a lot of the things that Warrior said and did during his time that his family says he felt bad about and tried to atone for. Triple H has said that Warrior would either apologize to guys or guys would come up and apologize to him for things. And it felt like it was Warrior getting closure with the professional wrestling world. And the story of that has always been very powerful to me. And I'm a very optimistic guy. Positively Pat Sims. I try to be optimistic and positive about things, and I like to believe the best in people. That they can make mistakes, they can fall down, but everybody has the opportunity to get back up, to correct those mistakes. And that's what our Friday night Warriors Unleashed show is all about, is about getting back up and moving forward to be better tomorrow than you are today, to be better today than you were yesterday. And I think the story of the Ultimate Warriors, if you believe everything that's been said by his family and Vince and Triple H and Linda McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, which again, you can take a lot of that with a grain of salt, but if you do believe it, it's a great story of redemption and being able to bring people back together under some of the worst of circumstances. So, all right, guys, we need to start wrapping up this show. These ones have been so much fun for me, but at the same time, we always go over a little bit. But before we close out, I always get my buddy, the Diamond Standard and the voice of PCW, Doc Haywood, to send me a nice little promo, and I want to give it to you now. This Saturday at noon, Pro Championship Wrestling presents a special episode of PCW Prospects on YouTube. Doc Haywood makes a major announcement about the long vacant women's championship involving Maple Gramps, and you won't want to miss it. Plus a huge #1 contenders match as Angel Escobar battles Shaq Wolf in the main event. History is on the line when 18-year-old champion All-Pro Reno right there defends against 16-year-old red-hot Ramon Corzine right there. Watch it free this Saturday at noon on YouTube. Saturdays are for pro wrestling, and pro wrestling in NorCal is PCW. And right behind me, right here, guys, this is my very first book, Vengeance, that is out right now. Only on Amazon. You can pick it up on Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. I highly recommend it. I think it's a good read. And don't forget to head on over to positivelypatsims.printful.me and pick up your Positively Pat Sims merch, like this Positively Pat Sims Show t-shirt, Positively Pat Sims Show hat, which my buddy Ashton has the camo version. I am wearing literally the version that the guy in the picture is wearing. And look, we have the same body style. Look at that. And then we have the Positively Pat Sims Show baseball jersey, so you can celebrate being a part of the Sims Nation. And the number 23 is because we started off on WANT Radio as the Positively Pat Sims radio program in 2023. And my good buddy Ashton Harris was there on day one as he played Master Debaters with, who we mentioned earlier in the show, our very own Maria Pekaler. So now is your time, guys. Seth, any last words for our audience?
Wah.
Yep, that's about right. All right, and let's see. Let's go with George Fenmore. Any last words for our audience?
No, just remember to do your DDPY, or else.
That's right. There you go. All right, and Benny Scala, tell everybody about what you got coming up, my friend.
Yeah, tomorrow on Want Radio, 3 o'clock, Benny the Jet. Monday night at 6, True Crime with the Bad Girl, The Play, and Dangerous Dave. And on Wednesday at 7:30, When It Was Real.
All right. Awesome. And, of course, we have YouTube sensation Ashton Harris. Tell everybody about what you got coming up, my friend.
All right, guys. I got if you head over onto my YouTube channel, Remy Nice is the name. You'll see, the first game is almost done. I got 2 more episodes coming out, and then I'm starting off the Old Dog New Tricks Yu-Gi-Oh series.
Nice.
So be ready for that.
Head on over to Remy Nice, and if it's Remy Nice, take it twice. And I almost forgot. So there's a couple things. If you go to positivelypatsims.printful.me, you're going to find an all-new product. I don't have a thing for it right now, but I got to talk about it. So if you guys remember, back in the 90s, they came out with Wrestling Buddies. WWE came out with Wrestling Buddies, these little pillow versions of wrestling characters. And so I thought, how cool would it be if I could make a Positively Pat wrestling buddy? So I did the best I could. I created 3, one for each show that we have right now. And you can actually go to positivelypatsims.printful.me and find the Positively Pat Buddy. And it is a pat-shaped pillow. It's a cartoonish version of me that you can get. And my mom bought the Positively Pat Sim Show version. We have this one, we have the Warriors Unleashed version, and we have a game night version where I'm holding a controller. So those are kind of neat. I can't wait to see one. And if you want to know what our teddy bear looks like, here's our teddy bear. Our adorable Positively Pat Sims teddy bear right there. Isn't he just the best? I love this teddy bear. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the Positively Pat Sim Show. I want to thank my co-host Seth Sims, our information man, who gave us all of the ratings. What? I'm not there yet. Goodness. He did.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife's half in and out, paying attention, I think. I said George, and then I said Benny, and then I said Ashton. My wife's interrupting the show again. Sorry. How dare you, ma'am? I know.
25th anniversary.
25th. Shut up. All right, guys. That's going to do it. Join us next week when we have part 4 of what makes each WrestleMania worth watching. And it's going to include WrestleManias 31 through 40. We might even touch up on 41 a little bit. So we will start with the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania, working our way up to WrestleMania 40, maybe 41. So don't miss out. Join us next week. I want to thank Seth Sims. I want to thank my buddy Ashton Harris, my WANT colleague Benny the Jet Scala, and my DDPY brother George Fenmore. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Make it a great one as we continue our road to WrestleMania. This Tuesday on game night, we're going to be playing the Super Nintendo classic WrestleMania, the arcade game, as we keep moving backwards in time through pro wrestling games in our build to WrestleMania 42. So until then, everybody, make it a great one, and don't forget what we always say, take it easy. And if it's easy, take it twice.
It's queasy.
So long, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a great one.
The lights are dim, but the room still hums with the echoes of laughter and the moments we spun. Every honest word is like a stone in a stream. It rippled, it my show.